Greetings everybody and welcome back to the Austin Lindsay channel. Today we're doing a sort of Halloween-esque vibe photo shoot. I did a talking photography with a photographer named Chase Wilson who does a lot of visual storytelling, and this shoot kind of came from talking to him because I wanted to tell a really cool story. Our vibe today is Little Red Riding Hood. So we have this woodsy area and then we're gonna have Little Red Riding Hood, I guess, on the rock. I bought some little baskets and some fake blood and a wig to represent kind of the big bad wolf. Maybe she's just like cut off its head and is like walking back through the woods or something. Some sort of random story. So that's what we're gonna try and do today. All right, so you can see here, I'm setting up the camera angle. I went a few weeks, maybe a week beforehand, just to scout the location, see what the lighting will look like on the time of day that we're shooting this. This is in July in the Northern Hemisphere around 6 p.m. So in the reference images I shot with my phone, I took a few angles of the rock and then some without the rock. Originally one of the ideas was to have the model posing with the rock and have that be a bigger player in the final image. But when I got there on the day, I decided to have the rock and the trees and everything be more of background players. And I moved the model just a little bit in front of the rock, used her as kind of the main player, the main subject, obviously the image. And then I positioned the camera behind two trees to kind of frame the model in the background, so it gives that kind of a composition of your foreground, middle, and then background type of composition. So I've been noodling around, we got the lights set up. What we have right now is an AD400 Pro with a softbox that has a grid on it. And this one is our key light, lighting our model. Inside the basket, we have a 200 Pro with a yellow gel on it, just for some interest. Clear back in the distance here, right there is another AD400 Pro. It's bare bulb just to light up the scene. And then we have another AD200 Pro right over here. That has a blue gel on it that's lighting up our trees. And then we have another AD400 Pro that our good buddy Norco Photo let us borrow. And this is lighting up this tree right here. And I'm using these two trees to frame. And so that light is lighting up this tree right here, just so it's not a big black bar right in front of the camera. So the rest of the night was just basically getting all the shots. You can see here it's pretty light out. The shot I really wanted was when it was twilight. So a lot of what I'm doing here is just kind of testing, making sure all the lights are right where they want to be, the powers where I want them to be at when twilight hits. I don't have any of the power ratios. I pretty much will start off with one, usually the key light, fire that off, see if it looks good, then run over, turn on the backlight, fire that off, see if that looks good with the key light. If it's too bright, too dark, I bring it up or down. And then I just do that through the other lights. I don't use any light meter. I just kind of bring the power up and down to however I think it should look by looking on the back of the LCD screen. Okay, let me run through some of the images and just kind of explain my thoughts and thought process and what I think worked out and what I would probably do differently. So the idea was, like I mentioned before, it was Little Red Riding Hood coming back from the big bad wolf's house. She just chopped off its head and now she's carrying it back in the basket for, I don't know, maybe the townspeople or proof or something like that. So I looked forever to try and find some sort of wolf fur or something, maybe a wolf head that had teeth or eyes or something like that we could show a little bit better in the basket. I gave myself 2 weeks to work on this project. I could have spent forever and just, searched around and just meticulously tried to find exactly what would work, but then it would just taken forever and I would never have gotten a shot. So I gave myself 2 weeks, grab what I could to make it work. So I found this wig at a thrift store, and I think it works pretty well for a wolf's head. I mean, you can't really even see it, but I think it works just fine for fur. And then with the light inside, I originally had the idea of placing it really far back in the scene as like a tunnel of light, like this is just where Little Red Riding Hood had just come from. and it wasn't working really well on that day. So what I decided to do is just place it in the basket, and maybe the storyline idea was that's the glowing eyes of the wolf still, or something like its soul, or I don't know. But it doesn't entirely work with the story, but I think it looks really cool. It does give this nice color contrast in the scene. It gives kind of a cool, maybe practical light idea. And then it also is a closer light source to light up the model. And I thought that was really cool. So although it doesn't go along 100% storyline, I think it looks really cool and I think it works really well. So the other thing to mention is the hatchet or the axe. The one I have is this small one right here that the model's holding. I thought it would read a little bit larger on camera, but it still looks pretty tiny. So we did have them bring a larger axe. Rachel and Cameron brought this one, which is really cool of them. The larger axe, I think, is a little bit too big, but it reads a lot better on camera. But I think they both work out just fine. I'm just bringing this up for storyline. If I had, my way of perfectionism, I would have just a little bit larger axe than that small hatchet and a smaller hatchet than the large axe. I think that it would just played better into how I envisioned the whole storyline. But I thought I would just bring this up to kind of explain the vision that I had and where it actually landed in the final images. So I want to do some shout outs and thank Rachel for modeling for me. Check out her YouTube channel. She runs a K-pop group called Black Moon Crew. I'll put some links in the description to all these. Check out her YouTube channel. They do some really cool K-pop dance covers. And then I want to thank Norco Photo, Cameron, for assisting. Let me borrow his light. Check out his Instagram. He's a phenomenal photographer, does some really cool work. And then I want to thank McKeon for being there. I just met him that night, so I don't know too much about him, but he was a great presence and just a fun, jovial person to have on set. So I want to thank everyone for being there. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments field. I'll do my best to answer them. And thanks everyone for watching.